big concern following the Iowa game on offense, aside from JT Barrett kind of losing his his direction on some of his throws and throwing to the wrong shirts 4 times. Talking more specifically about the running game, and we talked about it last week in regards to, okay, JT Barrett's a capable runner, but defenses and defensive coordinators faced with the option of J.K. Dobbins or J.T. Barrett, Mike Weber or J.T. Barrett, are going to take away J.T. Barrett just about every time. And that's the core of the Ohio State offense, is the run-pass option or the run-run option, whether J.T. keeps it or he gives it, and he's reading that defensive end and he's reading the defense and he keeps it because they're forcing that, and that Kevin Wilson and company would have to come up with a game plan that would force the football to the running backs because they are the real threat. They are the guys that can take it to the house, and boy, did they take it to the house. J.K. Dobbins, 18 carries, 124 yards, and he had to actually take a back seat to Mike Weber, who broke off those 2 enormous runs and ran for 162 yards. And Mike Weber, not known for his speed, but he looks like he's a faster player this year. And that's coming off even the hamstring issues that he's had for much of the season. He looked explosive in this game.
He did. And Urban Meyer actually mentioned that in his press conference. Someone asked him whether they think that Mike Weber has actually improved in the offseason. And it's tough for us as fans because we're not there every day. We don't see him training. We don't see him in practice. But apparently he put a lot of work in the weight room. Coach Marotti is just one of the nation's best strength coaches. He is extremely knowledgeable, coming from someone who has been in the fitness industry for a very long time. I respect his knowledge and his ability to get the most out of his players. And we saw a Mike Weber fully healthy do what we thought Mike Weber could do. And it's exciting to have both Mike Weber and J.K. Dobbins at their disposal as offensive weapons. Kevin Wilson also mentioned this week that there's a possibility that we might see, which is exciting, a 2 tailback set with Mike Weber and J.K. Dobbins. However, I think the game plan against Illinois is going to be rather vanilla. I won't say pedestrian, but I think it will be pretty vanilla. One, because it doesn't have to be anything other than vanilla against this Illini defense. And 2, there are big games coming up where I don't believe they're going to have to install that. We may see something like that, but just as a fan, I don't believe that's something that we'll see going forward with this Illini game.
The other note I wanted to make about the running game, going back to another portion of the conversation like 10 minutes ago before I rudely interrupted the whole football conversation with the Illabuck Trophy posting, but that the offensive line definitely has to be credited with these long touchdown runs by Mike Weber in particular. And Urban Meyer made a note of that during his news conference this week, that when the offensive line can not just tie up the defensive line, but can knock those guys to the side and get to the next level and get out to those linebackers who we know in the run game typically clean up most of the tackles, then you know you're going to have a big day and you're going to have successful runs when you can do that. In addition to that, the wide receivers, they don't play for Urban Meyer if they don't block and block effectively. So that's part of most of the long runs as well.